we do this. Alright, I'm talking with VK Durham. She is my named in the lawsuit, which I was named in for having her on my show and talking about Gene C. Valentine. Did I pronounce that well enough? In case she wants to sue me again for talking about his funky ass, and you know the name's Clayton R. Douglas. Hi, Grandma. How are you?
Oh, I'm still fat, Patrick.
All right. I always like it when I hear something about a good day in court, so I thought I'd just put this up on recording and do an impromptu interview with you, since you're my co-defendant, according to this.
The court has been noticed that it's without jurisdiction, because you kids that are parties to that litigation as defendants are in various states, you know, and you're outside let me see how it reads here. I said, well, 20 days came, 20 days went. And the case proceeded.
Okay, what happened now?
Well, they had failed proper. I noticed them that they had failed to properly notify you in timely fashion, and that per the summons. And per the summons, they had given you 20 days to respond, and they had yet to notify you.
That's right.
And so anyway, as you're supposed to be notified in timely fashion, so you can respond within that time frame. And
what?
Of the 20 days summons.
Okay, sorry about that.
And the jurisdiction is beyond the geographical territory of the Circuit Court of Brooke County, West Virginia. To wit, a specific tribunal that possesses the legal authority to hear the cases within its own geographical territory. A circuit court is ordinary and inferior tri-level court, and appeals are heard by superior courts possessing the requisite of jurisdiction. The jurisdiction of a circuit court generally extends over a number of counties or districts wherein the court sits, that being the state of West Virginia. The name of the circuit courts can be traced historically to the period when a single judge rode the circuit to hold trials in each county within the designated territory in the geographical locations with small populations, and this method of dispensing justice eliminates the expense of providing every small village with its own judiciary. So this leaves them without jurisdiction. Okay, and that is being filed. I'm also filing for a motion for disbarment. Okay.
Okay.
And because the motion of disbarment is herein made pursuant to a willful, malicious acts of careless disregards for health and property, interstate conspiracy, and it goes on and on. Everything here has been it's classified as federal in its nature, federal violations. And the lady has cause to a sealing of the records that contain the evidence of criminal fraud and criminal activity, ongoing criminal activity, and yet she intends to draw from the fruit of the poison tree, which was by illegally gleaning of those sealed instruments, so that she can proceed on and collect damages, etc., from the court in violation of the illegally obtained evidence, which is exactly why the Miranda law was put into effect, that you cannot, without a subpoena, you cannot produce any evidence. The court just kicks it out. And that's how they lose so many of these criminal cases. Well, unfortunately...
By the way, let me go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Fortunately or unfortunately, I have no idea as to which. They have chosen to seal the documents and evidence of criminal fraud and criminal activity, but yet they want to proceed in a civil litigation. And this was very interesting when the judge heard it yesterday. Yesterday, she requested to have a psychiatric examination of me, that I was just pulling all this stuff out and printing it myself. And I said, I don't know whether it's fortunate or unfortunate that Mr. Valentine's reputation precedes him. He said, there's an article on the internet that was sent to me that involves Linda Lovelace, and it was written by her husband, Mr. Marciano, prior to her death in 2000. And I said, it does involve Gene Valentine and the activity of holding a gun to Miss Linda Lovelace's head and forcing her to have sex with a dog and forcing her into oral copulation. I said, it's all on the internet. I didn't post it there.
And this was Gene C. Valentine?
Yes. And
now, what is he suing us for? Having you on my show?
I have no idea who was holding the gun. I did not write the article, but the article is there on the internet for anyone to read. It is included into the court case. Now, also, I informed the court of Mr. Valentine and his conspiracy and conspiracy with others to obtain Durham Trust property, documents, etc., and the threatening of the lives of any of the present trustees if they had the numbers to the independent contractor of holding the Contra account fund that holds $17.5 trillion, that he had been threatening our lives if we held those keys. And the judge was noticed of that. Ms. Messler then made a motion to the court that the court issue an order for you and Portland Media and others, and to remove all the information about Gene Valentine, and for me to quit talking about it. And I said, well, that's a violation of my First Amendment right. And it's a violation of the people's right to know. And I said, whether you know it or not, according to the Wellsburg Sheriff's Department, there's an old arrest warrant for this gentleman with the FBI. I said, I don't know if this is true or not, but I do know. Well, Rosemary just came in. I said, but I do know that this was stated by the Wellsburg Sheriff's Department. Gene turned as purple as a grape, didn't he, Rosemary? He didn't get to say word. And so I said, now this gentleman has been illegally hypothecating trust property, trust documents. He he and others. And I said, that's a clear violation of a conspiracy. Under 18 U.S.C. 371. And I said, he's also violated 18 U.S.C. Chapter 25, 1961, the RICO tax. I said, every violation that's here is federal. I said, which is outside the purview of this court. This court only has jurisdiction of matters within this state and within this county. And the judge said that I should notice the court of the lack of jurisdiction. I said, it's already in the case. And I said, there's been so much vexatious litigation. I said, that is really intended to cause me harm. And then she popped up and she said, well, we just would like a psychiatric evaluation of Miss Durham. She's just writing all this stuff by herself, and it has no merit or value. And I said, you know, lady, I said, we have just been, I said, Your Honor, I said, we've just experienced one of Gene Valentine's psychiatric evaluations. I said, I flatlined over here at the Wheeling Hospital. I was under cardiac arrest.
Grandma, do you have something on over there? Do you have something playing in the background?
And I said, I was suffering a cardiac arrest. I said, in comes an unauthorized, not known psychiatrist associated with Gene Valentine, this individual sitting right here, who was threatening me and my visitor with armed guards if we tried to leave that hospital, and they were going to commit me to a mental hospital for 6 to 7 months. And about that time, Rosemarie popped up and she confirmed it. And the judge was sitting there, he just was having a difficult time believing all he was hearing. And I turned and I said, Your Honor, I said, I think this has gone far enough. I said, this individual has illegally hypothecated everything held in trust, which is an international trust. It's a treaty trust. And they've gone through every document, every piece of paper. They've threatened the existing trustees with death. And I turned around and I looked at Gene Valentine and I shook my finger at him and I said, and young man, I said, this party is over. And so he turned as purple as a grape. I mean, he knew I was coming after him in criminal court, and I am. That's what the judge suggested, that I go to the district attorney and file criminal charges against him, and I'm going to do it.
Great, and I'll be glad to have you back on my program to tell me the results of that too. What happened to the lawsuit against me? Where did that go?
Well, it can't go anywhere. You're beyond the scope and jurisdiction of this court.
Yeah.
This judge has no jurisdiction over you. You're not a resident of the state of West Virginia. You're not a resident of this county. You're not a resident of any of the territorial area that comes under his jurisdiction of his court. What has happened here is all federal. And I fully apprised the judge of that. And Gene Valentine whispered to his attorney, we've got to get this case dismissed.
I haven't even countersued him yet, since I haven't been served, you know. I'd be happy to countersue him.
Valentine, yesterday, when I looked at him, he looks like he's been on a bench for 10 months. He looks like he's been drugged through a chain of knotholes a mile long, backwards.
Send me pictures. I'll be glad to put that up so people can. I put my pictures up. It's up right now, you know. So yeah, I can do that.
I have never seen him look like that. Now he's overstepped. He's overstepped, and I intend to have his tail feathers over this one.
Cool. Well, you might let him know I've been doing this radio and publishing for a little over 35 years, and I've never been sued for libel or slander, and everybody that sued me cost them at least 10 grand. So
this man, he makes a profession out of suing people.
Yeah. Want to call him up? Want me to get him on the line for you?
No, I'm not messing with that bastard anymore.
Okay, dear.
He, to me, in my mind, when I envision him as nothing but a pile of filth.
Well, I've interviewed a few of those before. Maybe I'll just call him up and give him a chance to come on my show to tell his side of the story. How about that?
Well, here's a pop. Now, you're like a gossiping old woman right here in this instance. What do you prefer that shit talk to more people it pops out on? Just let me handle it, and you are out of it right now. They have no jurisdiction over you until you start meddling around. Leave it alone.
All right, dear. For you, I'll leave it alone.
I've never seen such a mess in my life as these people have got. All they know is to sue women. He gets women up there and sues them, and then kicks them out and pays them $45,000 or something. And he's got a track record on them. Magistrate court is full of this crap.
Well, get me all of the information you can, and I'll put it in my next article.
More important things to do than to mess with that bucket of filth. I'm going to file. I've got a file in here. I'm going to file for a summary judgment, and I hope a restraining order against him, because I've had enough of it. And then I am going to go federal with that jackass. He is an abuser.
I agree with you, dear. I just write about things like this. You know, I expose criminals. It's what I do. It's kind of what I do, dear.
Well, I've never confronted anything like this before in my life. And I just...
Sure you have. They killed your husband, for God's sake. Sure you have. That's the same kind of people. That's the same kind of people.
Clay, don't mix the apples and the oranges.
Okay, dear.
But come after me? Well, that's like sticking a wet noodle up a wildcat's fanny. But you know what? They forgot. Gene Valentine saw some remnants of the old DK yesterday. When I started spouting the laws, he knew that I was still on deck mentally. And that's what scares the pants off of most people. Even though they've wiped my records, they have forgotten. They did themselves an injustice. Okay. And incidentally, I told the judge yesterday that there were HIPAA charges filed and a HIPAA investigation on Mr. Valentine and his employees for intermeddling with my medical treatment. And I also told him about the identity theft and the Social Security frauds. So now we're going to get to the bottom of this. And I said to it yesterday, I said, I'm going to get this if it kills me. I'm going to take it to the line. Because people like this don't have a right to do to people what they've been doing to me and the other elderly. Anyone who has any property.
Whatever happened to Rumor Mill? Whatever happened to her?
I don't know. Her dogs are sick now. Her dogs are all sick. So I don't know what's happened to him.
Is Rumor Mill still up or is it down now?
Yeah, well, I don't know.
Okay, dear.
I really don't know, Clay, and if I don't know something, I'm not going to talk about it.
Okay.
But
Now,
anyway,
has the judge ruled on this particular law case? Is this all done now?
yesterday was just a hearing,
Okay.
and I'm filing the rest of the documents. I sent them to you,
Okay.
email, and as soon as we get our elevator unstuck here, these will be filed at court too. Because I'm going to move for her disbarment for vexatious litigation. And I just, they perjured themselves. Everything they have done is illegal as hell. It's all criminal activity. And I'm going to call for the woman's disbarment.
Great. Great. And just let me know when you want to, when you got an update, and I'll bring you back on and put you up again.
Okay, sweetie. Talk to you later.
All right, dear.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Okay. All right, just 20 more minutes preview of it and an insight into the whole story that we did a few weeks ago about me being sued by Gene C. Valentine. Me and Grandma being sued for letting Grandma come on my show and tell you what a asswipe he was. Sue me for that. FreeAmerican.com. And by the way, you can get my show any time of the day or night by calling 832-999-8621. It'll replay my shows, not necessarily this last one, but it'll replay my shows on a daily basis. 832-999-8621. And if you want to work with me in some way to make the Liberty Villages happen, to help promote the sheriff's organizations, call me at 520-413-2397. God bless America, and see you tomorrow.